Inside Blair House, the president's temporary Washington home, extreme fanatics of the same Puerto Rican Nationalist Party try to force their way in, guns blazing, to assassinate the President of the United States. When the 3-minute fusillade is over, assassin Oscar Collazo lies wounded on the Blair House steps. His partner, Griselio Torresola, is dead, shot down on the lawn. And White House Police Private Leslie mortally wounded. 2 other guards are wounded, one critically. Collazo goes to the hospital as the vigilance of the White House Police and the Secret Service foil the would-be assassin's plot. At Washington's emergency hospital, a 24-hour guard watches over Collazo, who, despite a chest wound, is given a good chance to live. He reportedly tells police, "We came here with the purpose of shooting the president." For Torresola, the fanatic mission ends on a slab in the hospital morgue. Meanwhile, the assassin's target, President Truman, leaves Blair House by the rear entrance. Mr. Truman, who had been taking his after-lunch nap, was awakened by the shooting. He calmly keeps his scheduled appointments. The first of them takes him to Arlington Cemetery for the unveiling of a statue to Britain's Field Marshal Sir John Dill, who died in Washington 6 years ago while serving on the wartime Chiefs of Staff. The president praises Sir John's devotion to the cause of Anglo-American friendship and greets his widow before returning to the White House. Elsewhere in the White House, Secret Service Chief U.E. Bauman displays a letter from the nationalist movement in Puerto Rico found in Torresola's pocket, urging him to act without hesitation. Bauman gets a report from Secret Service agent Boring.
Floyd, you were on the spot. You shot one of these assassins. Tell me just what happened.
One of the men went by our post on the east side of the Blair House, Chief. And when he was about 10 feet away from Officer Birdsell, he pulled his gun and started shooting at the officer. Officer Davidson and I immediately pulled our guns and started shooting.
Well, when this man passed your post, did he act unusual or do anything unusual that he would attract attention?
No, sir. He looked like one of the normal tourists coming into town at this time of year.
Like the average person,
Yes, sir.
a pedestrian that walks in
Yes, sir.
front of the Blair House every day.
Yes, sir.
Nothing unusual about him.
Not one thing.
Bauman congratulates Boring and White House officer Davidson on their work. In New York, police arrest Rose Collazo in the Bronx home which her husband, a metal polisher, had left 2 days before. He had told her he was returning to Puerto Rico because the movement needs me. Americans of all political faiths congratulate President Truman, back at work in the White House, on his escape. President Truman arrives at Hickam Field, Hawaii, after an overnight flight from San Francisco, and is greeted by Hawaii's Governor Ingram Steinbach. The president, carrying the traditional welcome lei rather than wearing it round his neck, heads for a luncheon of military and civilian leaders in Pearl Harbor. The chief executive tells his audience that he believes that the peoples behind the Iron Curtain want peace and that war is not inevitable. Then he takes off for Wake Island, a tiny coral atoll 2,300 miles away. The president's plane arrives at dawn, and America's commander-in-chief is met by his Far Eastern commander, General MacArthur, as flashbulbs pop and newsreel cameras grind. A tiny coral building near the spot the Japs landed is the site of a 3-hour meeting attended by top officials, including Secretary of the Army, Frank Pace, Jr., and the chairman of America's Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Bradley. Before leaving Wake, the president pins a 4th cluster on the Distinguished Service Medal of General MacArthur. As the principals leave, they announce that their conference discussed terms necessary to bring peace and security to the Pacific. The cause of the United Nations is speeded forward in a major conference on the historic Pacific island of Wake.
The funeral of White House Guard Private Leslie Coffelt is attended by President and Mrs. Truman in Arlington National Cemetery. Coffelt died defending his president from assassins' bullets. An increased guard surrounds the Trumans as Private Coffelt's body goes to a hero's grave.